been a minute. Welcome back to my channel. We have a lot to talk about. Oh my god. You guys. Where's my mirror? Stress? Not the word. Not the word. But of course, these things only happen to me. So let's get right on into this video. Ooh, girl. So this is kind of story time, life update, you know, those things. So pretty much, as you guys were witnessing, I was going through the going-throughs. I was going through quite a bit, and like life turned upside down, like literally upside down. I'm going to start from the beginning. So at the end of last year, I was like shutting my channel down. We all know why. Blah, blah, freaking blah. Okay. When the year was ending, I was like, oh my God, I need to travel. I'm going to travel. I'm going to do the Bougie World Tour. Plans changed? Girl. What happened was I planned a trip to Los Angeles and I was super excited. I knew what I was going to do when kind of knew what I was going to do when I got to Los Angeles. But like one of the things I really wanted to do was go to church. I wanted to go to one church. I actually had emailed the church and I wanted to know like what time locally I'm supposed to show up on Bible study night because on Activate LA, because it's a 3-hour time difference and I didn't want to show up on the wrong day at the wrong time because I wasn't going to be able to make it to a Sunday church because I was getting there on Sunday and leaving on Sunday as well. I was only going to be in LA for a week. My trip was originally with Kenneth, so he flawless, and of course my baby Jalen. And so we booked this really nice Airbnb. You guys were seeing the beginning stages of the trip. You guys were seeing, especially the members, they were seeing like the planning of it and getting excited. And I was super excited about it too because like most of my subscribers are not in Canada. So I was going to do a bunch of traveling. The stress is real because I am running on limited battery, limited memory card space. And we'll get into those things in a minute. We gotta talk about Los Angeles. So I booked my trip. I book my tickets for Los Angeles. I book my Airbnb for Los Angeles. I booked Jalen's ticket for Los Angeles. Okay. Paid for. Fast forward, and I start getting uncomfortable because of the situation with, of course, he who shall not be named and he who shall not be named's girlfriend. So I start getting really uncomfortable, and I was actually vlogging at that time. So if you're in the membership, you will see like what was happening in real time. So you're gonna see the story time, and then there's vlogs attached to everything that's been going on the last pretty much month I've been away. I didn't post in February, so which was not planned. So my trip was actually scheduled for February 5th to 12th, I believe. That was my original trip. And I think around January 20 something, January 23rd, 27th, girl, I don't know, sometime in January, at the end of January, all this stuff started happening with those people. So I was like, I can't go to LA because I didn't feel safe to go. I didn't feel safe to leave my kids with my mom and people knowing that I'm going to be out of the country. I just didn't feel it, right? So just because of everything that was going on, like if all that stuff didn't happen, I would have just went to LA. We would have had a freaking blast. And then I come back like, you know, nothing was wrong. But like because of the unhinged behavior, I was like, I got to either cancel my trip or move or both. Or while I'm gone to LA, put my mom and my kids and my aunt in an Airbnb while I'm gone. But it's like, that's just ridiculously a lot of money for no damn reason. You know, I didn't want to do that. It didn't make any sense. So at that point, I started packing my house up. I'm like, I gotta move. If I'm gonna be uncomfortable, there's no point in me living in my house. So I'm like, I might as well just freaking bite the bullet and move. Because what else am I supposed to do, right? There's no point of just being uncomfortable. There just really wasn't. So that was pretty much the next best thing I could do. Because that was unplanned and because my trip was already paid for, I was like, this sucks, monkey balls. But again, I didn't really feel like I had a choice because there's no point in me saying and feeling uneasy living in my space, but then I'm still in my space. There's no point. And because it was getting increasingly uncomfortable, like, you know, at first it was whatever, and then I just got really uncomfortable. Because the fact of the matter is, when it comes to like narcissism and stuff, therapists and forums and everything, anything that you read about it, when you ask the question or pose the question, should I expose my narcissist? The answer is always only do so if you are safe. If they don't know where you are and you're in a completely different place and blah, 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 blah. Now, I didn't follow that formula because, I don't know, I didn't feel I had to at first. And I didn't search something like that. I didn't realize what I was doing at first when I started talking about my story. I didn't realize, right? So I didn't bother to move, and I guess also too, I just wasn't considering those things because why should I have to, you know? But I realized my situation just simply not normal. So I can't approach things like it's a normal situation, and so that was my bad, really. That was my bad, you know what I mean? I guess because I felt so free too, I was like, I'm not gonna not say anything now, you know what I mean? And I also felt like the way that I did my content on the narcissism topic and the abuse topic, I didn't find that I did that content in a way that it was necessarily harmful, but educational. So that's really why I didn't see that it would be an issue at first. The first time I realized that it was pressing some buttons was during a phone call. And so, yeah, that's neither here nor there. But, you know, I was like, I've been quiet for long. I'm not gonna just not say anything. I just treated the situation as my normal story times, which, you know, it is what it is. So that being said, once I started to feel super uneasy, it was like, okay, you gotta move. That's what I had to do. Now, when it came to the LA trip, I'm like, this is very inconvenient because you generally don't think to move at the same time you're planning a trip. So like, it just wasn't on my radar. I knew I needed to move, but at the same time, I was just doing it as I could. Like, I couldn't find a place that was suitable, that would be good for me and my children and my work, right? So that made it really hard. So I was trying to look for a place. I was trying to look for a place in the same kind of area that I was in because obviously my child's in school. I didn't want to have to like move her and uproot her from, you know, her friends and stuff that she's just made this year. Like, she just started school. So I didn't want to like make it horrible for them, you know, and like just not be, I guess, stable. I was really trying my best to find a place that would be close enough to where we were so that too much wouldn't be changing, because I feel like my kids' lives are always changing and, you know, they need stability. I think stability is really, really important. So I wasn't really here for that, but at the same time, you're gonna do what you gotta do. So yeah, I didn't plan to be moving at the same time that I'm going to freaking Los Angeles, but I realized I'm probably just gonna have to take the L, cancel the trip, not go, because I can't do both. Like, I can't move. And if my mom's not feeling comfortable and she feels vulnerable and not safe, you know, being alone with my kids for a week, then what the hell? How can I leave her? It was just something that I had to deal with. Now, I had been pondering if I was going to cancel that trip or not, right? And I wasn't sure what the hell I was going to do, but it ended up being that I had to cancel it, and here's freaking why. So this is literally stuff that would only happen to me. So it's like a couple days, no, what is it, a week? It's literally a week before my trip, exactly a week. And I decide that I'm going to upload my information to the app. So I really wanted to fly to Los Angeles on a Canadian flight, but they didn't have any that were going to Los Angeles that didn't have crazy layovers. And I'm like, what the hell? What am I going to do? Why do I have an 18-hour layover in Toronto? Like, why? I'm just trying to get to Los Angeles, girl. Like, fly me from Ottawa to Los Angeles. But the layovers were insane. And so I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm just going to book with whatever doesn't have a crazy layover. So I ended up booking my flight with what was available, which was United. Now, when you book your flight with United, it doesn't tell you right away, not till after they take your money. It doesn't tell you that in order to get on their flights, you need to be vaccinated. I didn't know that. So I booked my flight. I'm minding my black business. And then a week before my trip, and this is the grace of God, let me tell you, a week before my trip, I decide I'm going to upload my passport information to the United app. Now, when I do that, it also prompted me to upload my vaccine history, but I'm confused because as far as I knew, they lifted all the mandates and stuff. I said, vaccine? What? So I'm gagged, girl. I'm like, what is it? Is this for real? And then I'm like, well, I can't show up at the airport and they not let me on the flight because I don't have vaccination papers and they want me to upload them to the app. So when I see that, mind you, like I said, my trip is booked, Jalen's trip is booked. So when I see that, I'm gagged. I'm like, no, there's no freaking way that this is happening right now, all because I didn't book with Air Canada. Like if I book, because everybody was telling me like, you don't need anything anymore, right? You just need your passport, girl. And I'm like, yeah, you don't even need a COVID test, right? So I'm like, I thought this was over. So I'm like confused because as far as I knew, all my friends had been traveling. Like, everybody's been going everywhere, okay? And not had any issues. My aunt had just come back from California. Like, she's like, no, you don't need anything. And so when they were telling me that, they didn't realize that I had booked with United. And so that's where I got gagged. And I realized, okay, well, maybe I'm just not supposed to go to LA. Keep in mind, stuff kept happening in LA prior to me going. And so we kept seeing stuff on the news and we were like, maybe I'm not supposed to go, right? That was actually the attitude. So it was almost like I was just really not supposed to go to Los Angeles. So we were watching the news and I'm like, people are mass shootings, like 3 mass shootings in Los Angeles the weeks that are leading up to the trip. And so I kind of was getting this feeling like, okay, maybe this is just not where you're supposed to go, you know? But still, I mean, I still had hope, okay? Keep hope alive, girl. Hold on. Oh yeah, so we are watching the news and we're like, what the frig is going on in Los Angeles? How is all this stuff happening when I'm gearing up to go there? So I'm kind of like guarded, but at the same time, like I said, I had hope that I was still going to get to go. You know, I had good faith that I was going to go to Los Angeles. Like I said, I'm uploading my information. United is like, girl, where's your vaccine? I said, I'm unvaccinated. And at that point, I was like, okay, this trip is in the chute. Okay, it's in the crapper. So I'm just going to take my L and see if I get my money back or whatever, because I did put insurance on the trip just in case I needed to change anything. However, that didn't really save me too much because though you are able to cancel that trip on United, you don't get cash back unless it's like within like 24 to 48 hours of booking the tickets. This is a whole week or 2 weeks later that I'm canceling my trip. So it ended up being that they gave me credits to fly on a different flight. So I have credits for me and I have credits for Jalen's trip. Will I ever get to use those credits? Probably not. If they don't lift their little mandate thing for the vaccine, I'm never going to get to use those credits. I don't know if I could forward them to one of y'all, girl. If I can, I will, okay? Because I can't use them. So at that point, I go on Airbnb and I'm like, hopefully I can still get my Airbnb money back. Gag was, my trip was a week away. So thankfully I was covered by their little cover policy, air cover, whatever the hell it's called. And I was able to get back 50% of my money, but I had up until 4 p.m. that day to get my money back. Girl, it was 1:30. And this is why I say it was the grace of God, because had I not gone that day and sat down and decided to do it that day, I would have been screwed by 4 p.m. that day, and I would have got $0 back, because I was only getting 50% back because it was exactly 7 days before my trip. Gagged. I was like, wow, okay, so it's not a complete and utter loss. Still a loss, but not as big of a loss as if, I didn't get any money back, because it would have been 3 hours later. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine? So I'm disappointed, of course. Jalen is like so disappointed, because we're thinking we're gonna get to meet. Like, we are so sad about this trip. We are gagged, because the whole entire time it had just been some bull anyway. So we were like, this is crazy. This would happen, this would happen. Yeah, that happened. And then I decided I'm just gonna focus all my energy into relocating, into moving, because I'm not happy living where my ex and his minions know where I'm at. It's too damn stressful, and I don't deserve that. So let me do what matters. Maybe that's what God wants me to focus on. Getting that ASAP, okay? So that's what I decided I'm going to focus on instead, because that's what was important. Now, if you're wondering why the hell I'm using a beauty blender to contour my nose, we're gonna get into that, okay? Because I have some dragging to do by the end of this video. But right now, just let me try to fix this issue. I've moved into a much smaller dwelling. I will miss my 5-bedroom, but not really. So when I originally moved into my house, it was 5 beds, 5 baths. But when I originally moved, I was still married. Well, I'm technically still married, but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, I never thought that I would be single, So the house really did what it came to do. It was perfect size for the growing family. And, it was just perfect. I had my workspace, everything was great, but it was also very expensive. So, paying for that space on my own, it wasn't realistic. It really wasn't. Doable, yes. Realistic, no. Not when I'm not getting any financial help, from the other side. So moving was definitely key if I ever really want to purchase a home. Downsizing was just gonna have to be the thing, okay? Whew, girl. So that's where we channeled our energy. And once we did that, packed up my house in literally the matter of, I'm gonna say 3 days. It was crazy, but because we were downsizing, we got rid of so much stuff, and it kind of gave me a different view on things, because it's as North American people, we definitely overconsume a lot, and we buy stuff and stuff doesn't even last and blah, 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 blah. So the things that I ended up getting rid of in order to downsize were a lot of big items. So my couches, my couch set, I got rid of it. Because I had my other couch that really we would put in the sitting room that nobody goes into, if you know, you know. So I kept that couch, but I got rid of my 3-piece. So I had these recliners that really had their time, and so pretty much we just donated a lot of our stuff, because we were moving into a smaller space and did not need to keep all those things, and they were wearing and they were tearing. So we donated our couch set, and then what else did we got rid of so much stuff. I can't even begin to tell you how much stuff I got rid of, but I felt lighter after. I needed to get rid of stuff, you know. I've been getting rid of stuff, girl, for the last 2 years. But like, I really needed to purge, so to speak. So got rid of a bunch of stuff and, you know, was just ready and eager to move forward because sometimes stuff holds you back. And that's what I was feeling. So I got rid of a bunch of things. Let me find a contour powder because I don't have my makeup with me. So boom. Don't make it to LA. Move. And then I'm like, well, after all that drama, mother needs something, baby. Mother needs something. I don't have a contour powder. Like, girl, this is just a mess. Once I'm like settled, kind of, but not really, I'm like, well, after all that stress, I needs me a little vacation, okay? A vocation. Okay, I needed something, girl. I needed to like go and get my thoughts together and like, you know, I needed to live life on the edge a bit. And so I get this bright idea that I should go to Jamaica. I get this bright idea that I should go to Jamaica because one monkey don't stop no show, okay? So LA trip gets canceled. I am feeling like I'm on a boat without a paddle, but I was so stressed and like just emotional and a mess, really, and I needed to get away. And so I decided I'm gonna go on a little trippy trip, and I did just that. And so I was in Jamaica for 2 weeks and nobody knew. I was gone so damn long, and I didn't have my SIM card in my phone because when I got to Jamaica, I got a Jamaican SIM card and I put it in my phone, which even that was like, God is so good. Because remember the drama I had with Virgin Mobile? Had I bought my phone from Virgin Mobile, when I got to Jamaica, I wouldn't have been able to put no damn SIM card in my phone. I would have had to use the Sweet Roam and pay home prices, which are absolutely freaking ridiculous. Let me just say, the prices that we pay at home for talk and text and data, disgusting. Because when I was in Jamaica, I got the SIM card for like $8. And then the service, you could put a 3-day plan, a 7-day plan, and then just keep topping it up. It's pay as you go, but you get all your data. The phone works everywhere. Okay, it's perfect. And it's literally $10. $10 for phone service with data in Jamaica. Do you know how much I pay Virgin Mobile every month? It's disgusting. That's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, I go to Jamaica for 2 weeks, and you're going to hear a story time about that as well. Ooh, girl, you're going to hear a story time about that as well. But that's not why we're here to talk. Today, I want to direct your attention to Air Canada, okay? Let's talk about first class. Yeah, let's talk about it because I'm pissed. I am pissed. This is why I'm contouring my nose with a freaking beauty blender. This is why I have limited makeup brushes, okay? You tell me why I only have 3 makeup brushes. 4 to do my makeup. These are not the brushes I use to do my makeup. Foundation. What foundation did I use today? I used my Kat Von D. Totally fine, you know. Didn't take her to Jamaica with me. But if you're wondering where my makeup is, well, why don't you ask Air Canada? Okay? So, after all the drama, and I decide I deserve something nice, I'm gonna go to Jamaica. I'm gonna go to Jamaica by myself, solo travel, without my kids, without my mom. I'm just gonna go and have a good freaking time. I'm gonna live life on the edge. I'm single. Maybe I'll find a Jamaican man to wind up in my hole. I'm joking. Am I? Listen, I booked the trip first class. This is my first time flying first class. Girl, I do all this research. I'm like, I want to bring, because I know I'm leaving for 2 weeks, which was so like scary for me, by the way, because I have never been away from my kids. I make this joke that the only time I'm away from my kids is to go to the hospital to bring home another child. So that's what is the norm. My kids have never been away from me, and I've never been away from them. So I couldn't even get there mentally. I was so scared to go on this trip because, one, I'm by myself, even though I had people that I was meeting up with down there, but like I'm by myself without my, like, what? Well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be away from my babies? But like, they're getting older. Like I need to be able to do this, right? So my mom's like, you need to go. So, you know, I booked the trip. Anyway, I booked the trip, first class, like I said. Now, Air Canada first class is not what I thought first class was gonna be. Baby, in the movies, on Instagram, baby, on Jackie Ina's damn Instagram, girl, first class is looking elite. When people book first class, you think it's going to be wonderful. You think you're gonna get all these amenities, baby, a gym, girl. I don't know what the hell I thought was gonna be the case. But what the first class experience that I got, I was like, well, this ain't nothing but a bigger seat, ma'am. I thought I was gonna have a section, a pod. Girl, wasn't none of that. Okay. Now I'll tell you the pros and the cons, I guess, if you're interested to know. So one of the major things that I think is really dope about first class or flying first class, business class, whatever, is the priority boarding and those things, right? And the fact that you can have 2 checked bags included in your fare that are 70 pounds, not 50 pounds. So like weight's good, you know. The line bypasses are wonderful. So when I got to the airport, I just looked for priority signs and I followed them. However, I missed the priority sign at the security. So I had the option to bypass a line, and I was in a line because I didn't know what the frig I was doing. So that was my first mistake, but I only made that at the Ottawa airport going to Toronto. Once I arrived in Toronto, I realized I realized while I was in the lineup that I probably should not be in this line. And then I knew once I got to Toronto that, you know, not to do that again. But the thing about that is, I think the guy at the security thing assumed that I wasn't priority, baby, which is problematic. Okay, I'm young and I'm black, and yeah, maybe young black people in Ottawa don't generally fly business, so he assumed that I should just get in the line with the commoners. But I wasn't supposed to be in the commoner line, so I ended up staying in a line that I really didn't need to be in, and that was my first mistake flying first class. But baby, by the end of this trip, I had it together. So line bypass is great. The other thing that I said is great is the check bags. Very easy breezy in the beginning processes of the airport and even boarding on a domestic flight. However, once I got to Toronto and it was time to board the flight to Kingston, baby, problematic. It don't matter if you're priority then, because the people in the wheelchairs, which is going to be about 60 wheelchairs going on to the flight to Jamaica every single time. Don't you ever get it twisted. If you are going to Jamaica and you paid first class, be prepared to wait for the wheelchairs to board first. It is so many old ladies that possibly might not even need wheelchairs. But I tell you what, when my mom is going to Jamaica, she's definitely going to be in a wheelchair because that is priority boarding, baby. Hell, I'm finna be in a wheelchair because what? Girl. So wheelchairs first, then zone 1 and 2, and then economy. So that's the only part that really sucked in Toronto. Once you get to Toronto and you're boarding a flight to Jamaica, it's wheelchairs first, and then first class, and then economy. And so I didn't realize that because when I boarded in Ottawa to Toronto, there wasn't a wheelchair in sight. Okay, I got on the plane first, I put my bag up, and then sat down in my seat, and then the complimentary stuff that you get for paying first class is great as well. However, I'm not into airplane food. It's nasty. Okay, I got French toast on the first flight, disgusting, because it had some thing on it like custard, and I don't even know, it was disgusting. I don't like airplane food. But when you fly first class with Air Canada, you get access to the Maple Leaf Lounge, which is great. They have food in there, they have drinks in there, and it's all complimentary. So you go into you scan your boarding pass, you go into the lounge, and then you can eat whatever you want to eat. So if you have a layover, it's great because you can go sit up there until your next flight is ready. You could be having a 4-hour layover, a 2-hour, 1 hour, doesn't matter. You go to the Maple Leaf Lounge, you get you some grub, some drink, and you go, which was great. And also, it's after security. So if you want to take a bottle or a can of soda or something with you on to your next flight, you can do that because it's after security. Hell, if you want to fill your tumbler with wine, girl, and drink it the whole damn flight, you could do that. Just saying. I didn't do it, but I wanted to. Those are really the benefits of flying first class with Air Canada. However, I am a little perplexed because why, when I came back to Ottawa last night and I was standing at baggage claim, which I flew first class there and I flew first class back. Now, when I was coming back from Jamaica, again, I had a layover in Toronto. We need to abolish layovers. Okay, we need straight flights again. We make flights straight again. Because Ottawa to Jamaica, this wouldn't have happened. But Ottawa stopping in Toronto and then to Jamaica, and then Jamaica stopping in Toronto and then to Ottawa, problem. I didn't have a problem on the way there. All hell would have broke loose if I had a problem on the way to Jamaica. That would have been horrible. But because this only happened on the way back, I have a little bit more of a forgiving spirit, but this was not okay no matter what, okay? I checked my bag, and luckily for me, I didn't put any real valuables in there, but there's still things in there that I couldn't put in my in my carry-on, like my makeup, because there's stuff in there that's over 100 milliliters that I was taking, full size of. I don't have time for the small and the big, and I don't have time for all that. So I packed it and it was in my checked luggage. First of all, my day was long as hell because I had to be at the Kingston airport for 11 when my flight wasn't until 3, and the Jamaican flight is always delayed. So my flight was delayed going to Jamaica and my flight was delayed coming back home. I get to the airport from like 11 o'clock in the morning and I'm sat there waiting to board until like 2:50. So we board at 2:50, and I don't get much sleep on the plane, but even on the airplane I had drama. I lost my AirPod. The flight attendant had to come find it for me, girl, because I was not getting off that plane without my AirPod, period. The girl that sat beside me, her drink spilled, but it spilled while I was gone to the bathroom. So when I came back from the bathroom and I picked up my pillow, my neck pillow, it was soaking wet in soda. And I was like, WTF. Okay, and this is after my AirPod got lost, okay? So my AirPod was retrieved in the time that the drink had been spilled. A lot, okay? Then, when we had taken off on that flight, I got a notification from shout out to Apple AirTag, that my luggage was being left behind. But I also had gotten that notification before, but my luggage ended up being where I was. I figured it was just like a glitch with the whole airplane mode and no Wi-Fi, accessibility, blah, blah, blah. That's the other thing about the Air Canada flights. When you book first class, you get the complimentary Wi-Fi. I was talking to Jalen the whole damn time I was on the flight. It was great. Now, where was I? AirPod, lost it. Girls' drinks spilled. Blankets wet. And the airplane's freezing, by the way. Pillows wet. Can't use my pillow anymore. My blanket I could still kind of use. But I was annoyed. Whatever. Boom. That flight lands in Toronto. And when it landed in Toronto, it showed me that my bag was there in Toronto. So, of course, with a layover that's only about an hour and a half long, I went up to the Maple Leaf Lounge again and got something to eat because, baby, I was starving. The food that they gave me on the plane was not it. Okay, some ginger chicken thing, not it. Okay, fried rice, not it. It was disgusting. I was like, no. But the cheesecake, girl, the cheesecake, I was like wanting to ask for more cheesecake. I was like, the cheesecake is bomb. Oh my God, the cheesecake was so good. Oh, girl, I don't know where they got that from. I don't know if it's the Cheesecake Factory from Costco, girl, but it was delicious. I loved the cheesecake on that flight. Anyway, and I don't even really like cheesecake. Neither here nor there. So I see that my luggage is in Toronto and I'm in Toronto. So obviously I'm going to assume that when I get on my next flight, they had enough time to put my luggage on the flight. They had enough time. That's what I assumed. Okay. But we land in Ottawa after about 30 minutes in the air. Okay, it was a very fast flight. Land in Ottawa. We were flying at 23,000 feet. And when we get to Ottawa, I'm standing at baggage claim for a while. I'm on the phone with my sister. And eventually the bags start coming out. Now, when the bags start coming out, a bunch of people grab their bags and they chuck the deuce. The carousel is still spinning around, spinning around, spinning around. Me and a few other people are waiting, looking, blinking with our bang gang. Where is our bags? So then this one lady starts walking away and she's like, I don't think they're coming. And I'll be surprised if they do. That's what she said. And I said, don't tell me that, ma'am. That's what I said to her. I said, ma'am, don't tell me that. She's like, I don't think they're coming. But if they do, shout at me. I'm gonna be over here. So she's walking over to the baggage claim reporting thing. So I'm like, this is a freaking joke. Meanwhile, I'm pulling up my phone and saying, my bag is in Mississauga because there's an air tag in it. So when I see that my bag's in Mississauga, I said, no. There's got to be a glitch. It's got to be a glitch. I'm holding on to hope. And hope was nowhere to be found, girl. It was no glitch. My bag was really stuck in Mississauga. What? So there was allegedly 2 more flights coming in that night from Toronto. And my bag was probably going to be on one of those flights. I didn't give a damn about none of that. I walk over to the baggage guy and he starts taking my information. And, I think he could see that my bag was scanned or something, because he kind of described my bag to me without me having to describe it to him. And I'm like, what the hell? So I tell him, yeah, that's my bag. And so he gives me like this paper, this tracking number pretty much that I could track it, bag tracker thing. I'm pissed because most of my stuff is in it. And the only thing I have with me are like my souvenirs for my kids, like dresses and stuff that I got them. And majority of my mom's mangoes. Okay, my mom made me get like 50,000 mangoes. And I don't think you guys understand. My mom's like, I want the East India mango. I want some Julie mangoes. So I am packing up all these mangoes in my suitcase. Like there's no space for my actual stuff in my suitcase because my mom's mangoes are taking up the entire carry-on. Okay, so I pretty much just had my souvenirs in there. What time is it? I pretty much just had my souvenirs in my luggage and like my more expensive things. So like purses, a pair of shoes, like a pair of heels, a few things, a few things that I couldn't replace if they got lost, so to speak. Plus, I also had my backpack, which had this camera in it. And like, I already knew not to put stuff like this in my checked luggage. So my checked luggage, though there's stuff in there that, I can't replace, like a lot of my makeup products, I still didn't put too much in there that was irreplaceable. So, but like my Crocs are in there, nice Crocs that I probably can't replace because I don't think they make them. Okay, my Crocs are in there. Certain things are in there that I would not want to have to replace. My clothes, obviously. What else? My mom's other mangoes. So there's a few things in there that like I need, and didn't have them. But like my laptop, charger, my iPad, those were all in one of my purse, so my carry-on. And then my backpack had my camera, which I never used my camera the entire trip. I vlogged on my phone the whole entire time, which was great. The man tells me I could track my bag and they'll deliver it to me. They're going to deliver it to my house. That's what he tells me. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is absolutely asinine. Okay? Not okay. And of course, I'm even more mad because it's like you pay first class and the service is not giving first class. How you lose my bag when I paid first class? What? Baby, economy would never. I have never flown economy and had a bag lost. Never. Okay, this is crazy. But when I told him, I said, listen, there's an air tag in my bag. You guys need to fly me back to Toronto and let me go get my bag myself because y'all are a mess. Okay, so I just kept letting them know that there's an air tag in there and I can see my bag. So don't you ever, let me spitting, girl. Don't you ever try to pull one over on me. You guys are not about to, because I seen them people on the news the other day with Air Canada tracking their bag because the air tag is in there and they can't get their bag back and it's at some warehouse or something. What? Anyway, I went to bed and I woke up and my bag was still in Mississauga. And for hours I was just like on there like, what the frig? Like, I see it moving around. I said, what is my bag doing at the Chanel? What is my bag doing at the Chanel? It was by the Chanel. It was by the Rocky Chocolate Fountain Mountain place. It was by the Tim Hortons. I said, why is my bag moving around? But you guys have not updated it. So then I call and the guy's like, well, the last scan was today, which gave me a little bit of hope because I arrived to Ottawa last night before 12 a.m. So that let me know that somebody knows where my bag is and they gonna find it. So I'm watching it go on the world tour around the freaking Terminal 1. It just kept bouncing around. And then it got to this place where it was, I turned off regular view or whatever, 3D view, and I went to satellite view and I zoom in and see that my bag is outside on the terminal, like where on the tarmac, I guess, where the planes take off. So I see that my bag is outside, which gave me, because, baby, I didn't know why it was at the Chanel. I'm looking on the map like, does somebody have my bag and it's going shopping in the Chanel store? Why is the bag over there? So when I turn on the satellite view and I zoom in, I can see that it's outside. So I'm like, okay, this is giving me even more hope. So I go shower or whatever. And then when I look again, I see YOW. I said, thank you, Jesus. Okay, thank you, Jesus. My bag is in Ottawa. So then I finally get an email from like this company that says they are delivering my bag. And my bag is currently out for delivery. So everything better be in there. Mangoes, makeup, Crocs, clothes, everything better be up in that bag, okay? And I'm still gonna file a claim because what? Y'all had me, what? I had a 12-hour day between the airport, the airplanes, and my layover and all these things, and I land in Ottawa and my bag is nowhere to be found. Abolish layovers now. Make the flight straight from Ottawa to Jamaica and Jamaica to Ottawa. Why do I have to stop in Toronto? The next time I'm taking a trip, I'm gonna drive my little butt to Toronto and do a YYZ to wherever the hell I'm going. I'll stay at a hotel for a night. I don't care if I have to do that. It's better that way. And when I fly back, it's gonna be the same thing. I'd rather do straight flight from Toronto or even Montreal and land back wherever the frig, stay a night in whatever city I'm in, and then fly on a domestic flight. Because how are you guys losing luggage like this? Like what? I've never in my life lost luggage or like showed up at the carousel and my luggage don't turn up. What? Girl, no. So, tomatoes. Tomatoes for Air Canada. Tomatoes. And then the guy on the phone too, when I called and was cussing about my bag not being found, but I could see it moving around the damn Chanel. He asked me about my frequent flyer status. And I said, what the hell has that got to do with anything? So if I have a less amount of frequent flyer miles, you guys are not going to find my bag for me? What are you asking me that for? What is the reason? Like what? So I didn't understand. What does it matter what the status is? As for the actual trip to Jamaica, well, you will hear all about it very soon. You will see vlogs very soon. I'm so sorry that I like disappeared on you guys and like wasn't communicating with you guys, but I really couldn't because even though I moved, I still didn't want anybody that was stalking me to know what I was doing, where I was at, if I was home, if I wasn't home, you know, just leaving them in a vulnerable state. And I just didn't feel like that was, it was nobody's business, baby. See, you gotta move in silence like the G in lasagna, okay? You gotta move in silence. Can't nobody know where you are until after you come back. And so I will show you guys my pictures and my good body and my bikini, girl. I had a freaking blast in Jamaica. Like when I say a blast, I mean a blast. I went to Uptown Mondays. Like, girl, top tier trip. Out of all the times I've been to Jamaica, this was the best, okay? First of all, I got to stay long, but I had fun, like genuine fun. I was with good people. I drove. I fun in Jamaica. I can't wait for you guys to see my vlogs. And like, oh my God, top tier. But like, Air Canada, count your days. You're canceled, okay? Count your days. Count your freaking days. I want points. I want money back. I want my suitcase. And I want like 4 free trips. That's what I'm going for. So maybe my next video will be sponsored by Air Canada. Manifesting. Anyway, you guys, I love you all so much. I'm going to finish my makeup. I'm going to go pick up my child from school. And when I come back, I'm going to film my story time about Jamaica. And then I'm going to start editing my vlogs. Oh! And I think I left my memory card and my card reader in Jamaica. So like... Actually, when I finish my makeup, I'm gonna go to the store and get a card reader. Anyway, and that's like the only thing I left in Jamaica. Like, my card reader? Are you serious? Girl, get it together. I swear I have another card reader somewhere, though. It probably doesn't work. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I love you all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.